back to a new video. Today we're going to be doing my June reading wrap up. So in June I read a total of 6 books, 2 of them which were on my Kindle and were ARCs, so they were kind of gifted to me, and the others were physical books. Let's just dive straight into today's video and just get on with the ratings and all that jazz. So I'm going to start with the ones that I've read on my Kindle. So the first book that I ended up reading was My Royal Showmance by Lexi Blake, and this is the second one in, I think it's like Park Avenue Romances or something like that series. So the first one is called Start Us Up, and they're basically like interconnected standalones. I wouldn't necessarily say you have to read the first one to read this one, but there are elements in there that are obviously spoke about in the first book, so just keep that in mind if you do want to read this one. It follows our main character, and she is a production assistant, and she is meant to be investigating someone on a new show that they are filming, and one of the contestants drops out and she has to then be part of this show. They tell her it's temporary, blah blah blah, and basically when she gets onto the set of filming this show, she realizes that the man who is also featured on the show, it's like a Bachelor style type show, you know, where a bit literally like The Bachelor, where there's one guy and then multiple girls and he has to pick who he wants to be with, that kind of thing. The main male character who is starring in the show is someone that she already knows, but it turns out that he is actually a prince, and that is why they're filming the show, hence My Royal Showmance. So yeah, the story kind of then follows like the show and that sort of stuff and what's going on, and obviously deeper stuff about why he's on this show and that kind of stuff. It was interesting in terms of like seeing the behind the scenes of stuff being filmed and that kind of thing, and obviously them meeting before actually being on the show, it gives them a little bit of depth to the characters. But yeah, I did enjoy this one. It's not my favourite ever romance, but I did enjoy it, so I ended up giving it 3. I think it might be 3.5 maybe, that sort of mark. Again, like I say, it wasn't like astounding the best romance I've ever read, but I did actually really enjoy it, so 3.5 stars. And the next book that I read on my Kindle was The Plot Twist by Victoria Walters. This was also gifted to me as an ARC by Baldwin Books, so thank you so much to Baldwin Books. I also was gifted the ARC of the accompanying book of this, called The Love Interest, so I actually really enjoyed that one as well. Kind of like interconnected standalones, you don't necessarily need to read the first book in this series to be reading this one. This one follows Stevie, our main character. She has just got a job in publishing, and when she turns up, literally everybody is leaving the office, everybody's crying, and basically another company has took over this publishing agency and is making redundancies. Stevie is not one to be made redundant, so she still carries on working at the agency, but a new boss turns out to be her ex-boyfriend who broke up with her a few years ago and she hasn't really got over. So you not only have like second chance romance, but you also have workplace romance in there as well. The book was really good. I gave this 3.5 stars. It wasn't like, again, astounding like some of the other romances that I've read this month, but I did really enjoy the book, and I do definitely recommend. And I liked the kind of setting of it being set at a publishing agency. I thought that was really cool. Throughout the story there's like one book that they're really trying to publish, like it's a new book, it's a romance book, so it's kind of cool to see them like building the marketing campaign for that, especially as someone who works in marketing. I found it really interesting. But yeah, 3.5 stars for that one. Then the next book that I read was literally blew me away, and that is Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series. If you haven't read this book, or you are working your way through the Chestnut Spring series, you have got this book to look forward to, because my god, this was amazing. I Want to Marry Theo. Literally, I am obsessed with this book. I haven't stopped thinking about it since. The things this man did, it really shows you if he wanted to, he would. Acts of service, just an all-around thoughtful human being. He was amazing. I also loved the dynamic between him and Winter. I think he was like one of the only people that really understood her, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this book. You won't be shocked for me to tell you that this ended up being 5 stars, and I highly recommend this and the whole of the Chestnut Spring series, and I'm very excited to finish off the Chestnut Spring series. I've only got Beau's book left to read now. The next book that I read was also a game changer, and that was Powless by Lauren Roberts. Now, I'm not really one to tab books, but I had to tab this book. Obviously there's not that many, but I just tabbed a couple of things that I wanted to refer back to. I'm so happy that today is actually the release day of Reckless, because I physically couldn't have waited any longer to read that book. So yeah, reading Reckless immediately after filming this video. But this one was amazing. If you don't know what this book is about, basically Payden, she's our main character, and it's kind of like a Hunger Games style book if you've watched the Hunger Games. So they have to compete in these trials because there's ordinaries and there's elites, and basically ordinaries are not allowed in this world. The king is like, no, you are not to be part of my kingdom, and he has killed off all the ordinaries. Payden is an ordinary disguising as an elite, and they have these trials where I think it's like 6 or so many elites battle each other throughout these trials, like the Hunger Games. And Payden then meets Prince Kai, whose job it is to basically kill any ordinaries if they are suspected of being within the kingdom. So from the beginning, they can't be together. She's got to keep a secret from him. But yeah, the tension in this book is just amazing. It is left on a massive cliffhanger, but so good. I have a feeling this is the start of a great fantasy series, if it's going to be a series. I know it's at least 3 because I've got the novella here as well, but yeah, it basically has a very good potential to be an amazing fantasy series. And considering this is Lauren Roberts' first book, I was astounded. It was amazing, and it was an easy 5 stars for me. Infinity stars, to be fair. Then the next book that I ended up reading was Powerful, because as soon as I finished Powless, I was like, I need to read Powerful, so I'm prepared to read Reckless. Let me tell you, if you've read Powless, you'll know what the ending is, especially like towards the end of the trials. Reading Powerful and having that perspective, like this point of view on that, what happens, heartbreaking. I was sobbing. So this book is like a novella between Powless and Reckless. You have to read Powless first because I feel like this would really ruin it. And basically this story follows Adina. So Adina is Payden, who is our female main character in the first book. It is her best friend, basically, from where she lived in the slums and that sort of thing. So this kind of tells Adina's story of what was happening with her life while Payden was in these trials and what she was doing. And there's like a little romance and stuff. Amazing and heartbreaking all at once. I ended up giving this 4 stars, but I do feel like if it was longer it would have been 5 stars, but because it's like quite short, obviously you don't have as much time to bond with the characters. I did definitely bond with them, but I just feel like if it was longer then it would have been a 5 star, but definite 4 star because I love this and I was sobbing at the end. Then the last book that I ended up reading in June was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and this again was incredible. I had a really good reading month throughout June, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. So this one basically follows Millie, who is a maid or a housemaid or whatever. She moves into this rich family's house as their maid, obviously, and look, weird things start to happen. So everything seems fine, like, you know, it just seems like a rich family, but then the wife starts lying about things, like she gifted Millie something and then she takes it back and says like, no, you stole that from me, and she starts making a mess, like, and denying that she's been making these messes. And yeah, it's really like strange. It gave Gone Girl vibes. Basically it follows that story. I don't want to say too much because it will most definitely ruin it. Now other people have been really shocked by the plot twist and stuff. I wasn't so shocked because I really did feel like it was coming. I was like, yeah, I kind of think it's going to be that, and it was. A few elements did shock me. I didn't guess everything, but I did guess most things that were happening. Despite that, it was still a really good book. So I ended up giving this 4 stars because I did actually really enjoy it, but I just feel like it wasn't quite 5 stars because I did guess some of the things that were happening. But I am most definitely going to be carrying on this series because the ending was like, it wasn't really a cliffhanger, but it was like quite enticing to read the next book. But that is everything that I actually read in June. So I feel like I had quite a good reading month, to be honest. I had a bit of a mix. Obviously I had some mysteries, some fantasy, some romance, so a little bit of a mix all around. But yeah, definitely had a very good reading month throughout June. Let me know what you read in June, comment down below, or if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them, and if you're going to be reading Reckless soon, because it's amazing and you should. Or I'm hoping Reckless is going to be amazing, but Powless was amazing, so you should definitely read that. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in another one super soon. Bye!